Hey there, MJ traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also, I'm the best MJ community. Happy Friday. It is May 3rd. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to be discussing SNDL and Sunstream expanding their U.S. presence. Stock has been up a pretty fair amount in the last couple of days, obviously, after we had the rescheduling news as well. So we'll take a look at the chart. I'll bring up SNDL on the NASDAQ. And we'll take a look at the technicals and what to expect in terms of price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. Also, just had an interview and discussion with Morgan Fox, political director at Normal. We discuss the rescheduling news, potential for descheduling, and then a lot more as well. So if you haven't seen that, I highly encourage you to check that out. But as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. You should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I write or anything that I say. And full disclosure, I do own SNDL in my portfolio. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So this was the article from Benzinga. Canadian giant SNDL speeds up acquisition of majority positions in 2 U.S. MJ companies as MJ rescheduling looms. And if you haven't already, if you don't know what this product is, it's called Summarize. I basically just use this a lot whenever we see very lengthy articles, and I also added it to the Pow Group private community as an app. So if anybody hasn't noticed, you can use that. But essentially, you can just summarize in an article. You can take any article you want, and you can change it from like 48%, so you can make it like super small, or you can do it by like 60%. But I usually go somewhere around the middle. But this was a great summary of it. So we'll go through SNDL. Through its joint venture with Sunstream Bancorp Inc., announced on Thursday that Sunstream USA group of companies will proceed with the process of acquiring equity positions in U.S. MJ assets following the completion of the review by SNDL's listing authority, the NASDAQ. Sunstream USA are among the entities that comprise the Sunstream USA Group and USA2 LLC, with each entity including one or more third-party investors, all independently managed and governed. What happened? The Calgary, Alberta-based company said on Thursday that SNDL's affiliate Sunstream Opportunities 2 LP is anticipated to own non-voting and non-participating exchangeable securities in Sunstream USA entities. So we're seeing this trend pick up, and I mentioned that it would likely be the case after we had Canopy Growth, the new class of exchangeable shares, and the holdings company in the U.S., so Canopy USA. We see that it's now a multi-state operator with the acquisition of acreage, and we're starting to see more and more, right, where LPs are becoming MSOs and vice versa. We know that Cureleaf just acquired Northern Green Canada, a very small operator here in Canada, but an operator in Canada nonetheless, and we're starting to see that trend emerge. And now we're starting to see SNDL really start to expand its footprint in the U.S. as well, especially ahead of major reform. Sunstream USA can now acquire certain non-performing credit investments for Sunstream Opportunities LP, which is an affiliate of Sunstream Bancorp. The move would result in majority equity positions in select assets of Certera Holdings, which is doing business as Parallel, and Green Peak Industries, which is doing business as SkyMint. So Michigan SkyMint acquired out of receivership, and why it matters, SkyMint operates in Michigan, while Parallel is a multi-state MJ operator, MSO with operations in Florida, Massachusetts, Nevada, and Texas. And as we know, Florida is going to be on the ballot, adult use, for 2024, and we could potentially see that hit 60% threshold. I think there's a very solid chance at doing it, and then being enacted in 2025, more than likely in the summertime. So that would be a huge market, and very smart to get ahead of this of this growth and this curve. Loom MJ Co. is also taking over a large MJ Grow operation near Lansing, previously operated by SkyMint, as it restructures, stepping away from cultivation to focus on its retail presence across the state. The establishment and regulatory compliance of Sunstream USA Group has unlocked a remarkable opportunity for SNDL, and we are now poised to restructure non-performing credit investments in Sunstream Opportunities LP, said Zach George, the CEO of SNDL. This initiative creates attractive optionality for SNDL upon federal legalization to deploy additional investment capital into Sunstream USA Group structure, improving the return potential of attractive U.S. MJ assets in growing markets, said George, who shared his valuable business insights at a previous Benzinga MJ event. Sunstream USA is anticipated to be a majority owner in U.S. MJ companies having assets in 5 U.S. states, including Florida, Massachusetts, Nevada, Texas, and Michigan. So we know Ohio coming online as well, Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of movement from the state level. And then the DEA approving or agreeing with HHS to move it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. And prospects of MJ Banking, we should see uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ over the next 6 to 12 months as well, in my opinion. Whether or not we need descheduling for that, it's really going to be, that remains to be seen. But even Morgan Fox touched on that as well during my interview today, so I highly encourage you to check that out. But as of right now, it was multiple inside bars on the daily time frame that finally broke bullish here on SNDL. You can see we had the move on rescheduling news. Then we had a bit of a consolidation the next day. From the high of that day to the low of the next day, we were down almost 20%, just over 18%. But it was just a tightening range and a daily inside bar as the most likely scenario based on the size of that range. And then based on where we closed yesterday, it set up for, a couple days ago, it set up for another inside bar. And then here we are today, started off as an inside bar and broke bullish. So 240 was broken. The high of the day today is 244. So next resistance on deck is 252. And then the high there at 267. We are, though, in a monthly uptrend. And this is the first time really in history. Like, there's not really been there hasn't been another time where we formed a higher low and a higher high. So on the monthly time frame, we're also gearing up for the first ever EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. So this is looking fantastic. Like I said, over the next few months, I know Cresco CEO Charlie believes that we should get rescheduling enacted before the elections, which it's very possible. It could take a year, it could take 2 years. Again, Morgan and I went through that today with the interview with Normal, and it could be a lengthy process. And we know that Sam is already starting to get their ducks in a row to potentially bring litigation and file a lawsuit to oppose this. So it's definitely going to be met with some challenges, but at the end of the day, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I'm very confident that we're going to get Schedule 3. If not that, then descheduling. But more than likely, we'll get Schedule 3 enacted. We'll get MJ Banking, and then we'll get full-blown federal legalization, more than likely through descheduling from the CSA, right? And that's going to more than likely take Congress to act. But this is looking fantastic. Like I said, in terms of the monthly time frame, we're in a monthly uptrend. We're trending back to EMA 26, which is sitting there at 321. And we're also back above all of our weekly moving averages except for the 200 weekly. And a lot of our names are starting to trend back to their 200 weekly. And if you take a look at Green Thumb, it actually touched it perfectly. And then just a few other names in the space. If you take a look at Cureleaf got very, very close. High Tide, also very close. So if SNDL were to do and act as a laggard and do a similar move, that'd put us around $4.35 USD. So, like I said, this is looking great into over the next few months and into potential rescheduling enactment. Like I said, there's definitely going to be some challenges there. We also just had a golden cross as well. You can see the 50-day was starting to curl below the 200-day moving average, and that all came on a headline, which was DEA agreeing to move it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. So like I said, at the moment, one of our more bullish charts, and we're looking for a weekly uptrend to confirm here as well. So if we were to break 267, then it'd be weekly uptrend confirmed. And then at that point, you could make the argument to say that we would be in a daily, weekly, and monthly uptrend, which is all of the signs that we needed to see to be confident that the multi-year bear market was over and that we're entering a multi-year bull market. And we already had our weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, golden cross, pretty much checks all the boxes that we would want to see to be confident that the bottom is in. So at this point, we just need to be patient. As we know, the stock market is a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. So which one are you, right? Markets can go up, down, and sideways. And as of right now, we need to be expecting a surprise. Markets are forward-looking, and they like to price things in, even ahead of time once it's known. And what's not known is the potential that we could get descheduling over the next couple of years, right? So, and then Schedule 3 actually getting enacted, and then what comes after that, right? Obviously, 280E going away, but that's going to help with research. And, the more that we see incremental steps like this and reform, it's just going to increase the odds that we see further advancement in bills in Congress. Not only that, big companies, Fortune 500 companies getting into the space, right? It should help with MJ Banking as well. And it's looking fantastic. And we had some news today that Canopy had some dilution. So you need to keep that in mind. SNDL's got a boatload of cash. They've got one of the best balance sheets in the industry. in my opinion, and I think they're going to be massive long term, right? We know they have the retail footprint, both alcohol and tobacco, or sorry, not tobacco, alcohol and MJ, and they've got a very differentiated business. So also, like I said, set up to do their structure in the U.S., which again I've been saying is more than likely going to be a trend. Canopy sort of paved the way, and nobody else wants to get left behind either. So I think this definitely is encouraging with regards to other LPs like Tilray and some of the big ones, where we could potentially see them. I think MedMen is meeting with creditors this week, so they filed for bankruptcy, so we could potentially see Tilray acquire some of their assets. But one thing is for sure, it's an exciting time to be an MJ, and we're really starting to see, especially the Canadian companies really start to differentiate themselves. And I think they all are focusing on, specific aspects of the industry that really complement one another, right? Before it was everything to everybody. Every company was trying to be everything to everybody. And now we have just a select few, like at the top 5 here in Canada, that are very differentiated. And I love to see it. So something similar likely happen with the US as well. But going to end it there. Let me know what you think of this news in the comment section below. We'll continue the conversation there. We'll continue the conversation there. Hope you have a great day. Like I said, happy Friday. Hope you have a great weekend ahead as well. It's Rod with POW Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.